My old man got me into gaming back when I was a toddler. Things may be a bit different compared to the mid 90s, and I'm not just talking about the graphics. You see, my old man's changed a bit since then. Yup, he died. By the time that Halo 1 was released, I was 8 years old, likely still just playing on the PS1 and the 64. We didn't have an Xbox, save for a brief time when my old man rented one to see what it had to offer. I have vague memories of Blinks, the Time Sweeper, but we didn't play it all that much, and the Xbox was returned to its true domain. So, because of this, and my lack of interest in shooters at the time, I didn't play it. Hell, I don't think I even really heard of it until classmates spoke of it with reverence during lunch, and that was years later. Halo 3's launch was huge, of course, but the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was the hot new thing for a 13-year-old Raven, and Assassin's Creed 1 was right around the corner. Plus, games for the GTA series were still coming out on a regular basis, instead of us waiting for over a decade between mainline titles. So suffice to say that I did not grow up with the series, but it was adjacent to me and I knew of the games, but never really played them myself. Eventually I did pick up an old used copy of one, but mostly so that I could mess around with the multiplayer with some of my younger family members and the Blood Gulch. Of course I did so because I did, however, end up watching Red vs. Blue for a good long while. Though I slowly came to realize that the company that ran it had a lot of issues, and well, that's a long story. Turns out that having several alcoholics be in charge of a bunch of impressionable people isn't a great idea. Who would have thought? Last I heard, the one founder guy got it back, Bernie Burns or something. But we'll see how that turns out. Now, my old man and I did love sci-fi stuff as growing up. Star Trek reruns were really common. We both loved TNG. I'd eventually get around to watching most of DS9 by myself, and together we watched Voyager at times too. And of course, who doesn't love Stars War? The story of how any orphan can grow up to commit acts of violence against the state, or for the state in some circumstances. Though this child slave didn't grow up to having breathing problems due to his suit, instead he struggles with emotions, and is as stilted as the Cirque du Soleil's performance. Speaking of the hero of this story, he has been called Roland, Beowulf, Achilles, and Gilgamesh. But for the sake of Halo, you can call him the Master Chief, or Jonathan Halo, which is funnier. Jonathan is a former child soldier turned adult soldier due to the chronological passage of time, and as somebody that grew up under the abusive caretaking of a woman given far too much power, he and I have several things in common. What we do not have in common is the presence of a snarky electronic girl stuck in his head, both metaphorically and literally for a good chunk of the series. Going back to myself, however, and my relationship with the genre of sci-fi, my favorite things from it tend to be varied. Fallout is post-apocalyptic with warnings that we can still heed to this day. The Borderlands series are decent enough looter shooters, and from BioWare's catalog is the Mass Effect trilogy. I'd say their series, but Andromeda left me unable to finish it. For me, sci-fi is an exploration of what could be. Things could be better, but most stories tend to focus on conflict, and thus we see humanity repeating its same mistakes. We see this in Halo, after all. Jonathan only came into being as a Spartan too, as part of a program to put down insurrectionists. Having been born to a nation born of insurrection, my sympathies to those wishing to escape the yoke of oppression are deeper than most would realize. The fact that my peers rarely have the self-awareness to know the connection between our nation's founding and others that seek independence, be it in fiction or reality, fills me with more shame than the epic gamer sustenance of Doritos and Mountain Dew fills me with indigestion. The colonies that rebelled, the books portrayed them as a mixed bag. From what I've read, the games barely cover the actual politics of what was going on, and between the kidnapping children and replacing them with clones that were born to die so that the kids wouldn't be missed, not the biggest pro-gamer move by the government of Halo. I'll be going over the emotional and psychological aspects of Jonathan's life as my coverage of the series goes forward. Unfortunately, the first game is rather light on story, since from all accounts the game was a rush job. It's more so vibes-based from my experience. Then again, from what I've read and heard, each of the three first main games had difficult creation cycles due to mismanagement. More so the first two. 3's development had more external issues complicating things, but that's way down the line for my coverage of the series. But, to briefly go over the lead up to the game that started it all, Master the Chief is a popsicle that gets the Ogier the Dane treatment and needs to get woken up from his slumber and reunited with his trusted partner, Cortane. Oh, sorry, Cortana in this life. He and the Pillar of Autumn, as well as the nearly 2,000 other souls on board the ship, had to flee the colony of Reach, a world that will be covered in the future game, The Fall of Reach. Or is it just Halo Reach? Is the book The Fall of Reach? Anyway, though it's not the wrongest to say that the Halo series is actually a book series with some games in it, since the first official release for the series was a book that detailed what led up to the Halo the 1, the video game. Also, there are like over 25 canon Halo books out there, and there aren't more than 25 canon Halo games. So, with that, I think we're more than ready for me to go over the friends and foes that Jonathan Halo has during this first outing, as well as others that I get to include because they were added in terminals, and if I gotta deal with retcons as part of my experience, then I'm gonna include them in my video. Oh, and because I've gotten complaints in the past, spoilers for this game. All of Halo, and in fact, just don't watch if spoilers are things you care about, because I tend to make references to many things in my videos. Did you know that Darth Vader is the dad of Luke and Skywalker? Cortana, an AI made from the cloned brain of a woman that kidnapped Jonathan when he was but a wee lad at the tender age of 6 years old. As such, she is in a way a clone of his adoptive mother, but also his sister, since she's also a creation of the woman. Hence my calling her our sister mother, though I'll be using sister when that many syllables drags things down. She's a tool, treated by many to just be a thing, not unlike John. But where John is also a tool for the state to use against its enemies, he does get some recognition for being a person, if only because he's good at what he does, which is killing. Master Chief the Symbol is more important to humanity than John the Man, and between the two of them, they are seen as the deadliest children of a bitch in space. Take that, Isaac. The Sergeant Major Avery Jr. Johnson, yes, evidently Jr. is his middle name, is an NPC that doesn't have a whole lot of attention paid to him in the first game, but he's the most frequent Marine we see. He gets a unique name, appearance, and gives a speech or two. Then in the next game, he's given more importance. For now, he's just some metal-headed leatherneck who exemplifies the virtue of always being faithful in a war against an enemy, whose faith guides them on a genocidal war. There was a man named Jacob Keyes, who was the captain in charge of the Pillar of Autumn until he, wasn't. But way before he led the Master the Chief into battle aboard Halo Installation 04, he led his way into the deep crevice that would one day birth his daughter, Miranda. The lady that he became a beast with two backs with was named Catherine Halsey, the very same that kidnapped John and many other children to turn them into living weapons. In fact, from what I can find, he helped her early on, only for her to reassign him after he started to realize that it's kinda weird to do so much research into children that are easily stolen. For now, I don't know much more, but the fact that it should have been pretty easy to realize what she was doing and for him to just keep on bringing her to Pound Town, population almost exclusively comprised of war criminals, says a lot about his character. Time for John's adoptive mother herself, Catherine Halsey. I say adoptive over and over because fans insist that she was in fact nice to her abductees, so fuck it, Mommy Halsey it is. She was employed by the ONI, or the Office of Naval Intelligence, but just look at their name. It's not even subtle, they're evil as fuck. Like the CIA and their love of crimes against humanity, I mean, just look at their connection to the crack epidemic and shit like MKUltra. They paid her to do fucked up shit, and then when it came known to the public, they scapegoated her while praising the results. Which doesn't preclude her from judgment, but says a lot about how the powers that be are amoral demons that will do anything to ensure that their grasp over others is never loosened. Not even for a moment. John's main enemies in the first game are the Covenant, a collection of aliens that believe in some ancient dead people called the Forerunners. But like many things, this is expanded upon later on, as well as retconned as to who the Forerunners really are. Within the Covenant, there are a handful of species that pop up within Halo 1, with one of them being added by the mod I've been running. The simplest and easiest to kill of these zealous beings are the Ungoi, or the Grunts, your Goomba-style enemies that you just kill en masse over the course of the game. They're the Covenant's whipping boys, and despite their attempts at rebellion over the years, they're still stuck as being the little dudes that get picked on by the more senior members of their faith. Next up, we got the Kig-Yar, or the Jackals, short reptilian or bird-looking dudes that use shields. So basically just a more defense-focused version of the Grunts, using not dissimilar weapons, but a bit of something extra to make you be a little more tactical with how you deal with them. They seem to enjoy being pirates, little rat fucks as a people from what I've read and seen. Thankfully, they don't have sniper rifles yet. That starts in 2. From the previously mentioned mod comes the Hurugak, or the Engineers. They're living computers or something, made of nanotechnology. They look like cyborg floating airbags to me anyway. As I was playing, it was better to keep them alive since they were non-combatants, and having them stay alive led to a few of them helping me out by unlocking terminals and such, showing that they have some connection to the Forerunners. Also, before I forget to mention it, they're also loaded up with explosives so that they can't fall into enemy hands. I think that was by the Covenant, not the Forerunners. That's more recent. Reminds me of the Keepers from Mass Effect, actually. How they're possibly made by an ancient race of douchebags. For the Covenant, they tend to be the techies, handling what little R&D there is, since the religion kind of prevents the study of the Forerunner stuff. I believe I even read that it's taboo to even, change settings on anything. Imagine finding an iPad Nano or something and somebody threatens to kill you because you imply that maybe it could do literally anything else besides play Coldplay every single second. The big fucks of the Covenant, at least for Halo 1, are the Megalekgolo. I'm sorry if that's the wrong pronunciation, I heard several of them. Or the Hunters. These boys are clusters of dumb worms that become less dumb the more there are. And for the sake of being the Master of Chiefs, we deal with clusters in big suits of armor that want to tackle us, and we gotta kill them by blasting their backs out. Not dissimilar to an experience you might have on a certain app that involves grinding or something similar. They tend to come in pairs of 2. Apparently it's, and if a colony gets too big, they split in half, and now they're brothers. Which, yeah, some more sibling fun to be had in the Halo series. Oh, also, fun fact, they're called Hunters, and human vehicles are named after animals, and they tend to work well as anti-vehicle troops. So, that's what they're hunting, I guess. Last but certainly not least are the Songeli, another one with many different pronunciations, so just, I guess, deal with it. Also known as the Elites. Think a mix of, Klingons from Star Trek with the Yapja from Predator and other related things. Honor-focused, good at killing, bad at basically everything the fuck else. They even hate doctors because they shed blood outside of battle. Because of this, they will later on end up losing way more people than they really should have during their many, many wars. Being sorta reptile people themselves, they kinda remind me of the Turians a bit from Mass Effect. Though, those people are also sorta avian like the Kig-Yar. The Sangeli, pronunciation varying between different books and games, so good luck with that shit, are your standard big leader guys that are a decent match for Jonathan. If you kill enough of their troops, they'll get pissy and come after you. Or if you burst their shield, it can also happen. Generally, they're just really angy boys that want to kill John for being a humor and the best pro gamer that they have to offer. With that chunk done, the Covenant I mean, there's just one more asshole left. 343, Guilty Spark, the bouncing blue British ball himself. You can hear right off the bat that this fucker is evil, because he's British. and he's in space. While Cortana's Britishness only comes through from a couple of lines that they forgot to change, his tea-lusted vocals are going overdrive to piss me the fuck off. I give less of a shit that he fucked me over, or that he made one of the longest levels even longer. No, I don't like that he's so obviously not good because of his fucking English accent. No, I guess I should explain something about him. He's Forerunner tech that was supposed to watch the Halo ring, but he kinda went crazy, which we'll see later on. Finally, they're all covered. All the basic info of the people and the thing it's all covered now. Time to go level by level for this game because that seems like the best way to cover the Halo series. And you're going to see what my journey through this game was like with the mod, which, speaking of, I finally remember to say the name of the mod. It is Ruby's rebalanced Halo Combat Evolved mod from the Nexus, which I will put a link to in the description unless I forget or if it doesn't let me for some reason. I hope it doesn't. And that's it. Next up, we're gonna start. We're gonna shoot things. It's the Pillar of Autumn.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
The game opens up on the whip that some white guy named Jake has brought to some big fuck-off circle. Our sister was technically the driver, and while I do hate the notion that women can't drive, unfortunately the Covenant seem to not believe in heterosexual relations, and so no women are seen on their side, thus no women piloting their superior vessels. I've never even seen such powerful homosexuality in action. I mean, we play as a naval officer and all, but before our hushed casket is unsealed, we do experience one of the very few black guys in space.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Once again, it is our job to finish what the flyboys started. We are leaving this ship platoon and engaging the Covenant on solid ground. When we meet the enemy, we will rip their skulls from their spines and toss them away laughing. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
Attention all personnel. We are re-engaging the enemy. External and internal contact imminent.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is gonna be your lucky day.
The cryotechs acknowledge
He's hot!
that John is a fuckable cut of meat before we get to control him, letting us know that we are in fact coming to on a naval vessel. We get checked to see if we know how to look around before having to head up to the captain, but I see places to the sides and assume that there's secrets there, missing cool shit constantly, I guess. As the Star Trek rejects get killed off, we get a glimpse of an alien, our future prey. Some Marines lend us a hand since we are without guns currently, being saved by the more mimetically gay, but actually factually less gay branch. Has gotta mean something, but our ace hero needs to go and find his sister mother. Upon getting to the bridge, I tried finding the new terminal added in the Master Chief Collection, but apparently it's new graphics only. In defeat, I approached John's daddy to get his next objective.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report.
It must have been one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline!
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a matter of speaking. The object we found, I'm gonna try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. Protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research. Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yank me.
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
I don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
Like any good little sister to an anime protagonist, she's got an ass that matches her sass. And as this section of the game is named, Jonathan was originally planned to be a cyborg. And since, well, a good chunk of humans in the setting apparently have some augmentations, I say he's still a cyborg. But he's no teenager that shouts booyah. He's a shiny man machine, built for murdering. We get sick loot drops off of a dead guy since for some reason the captain doesn't keep his sidearm loaded. The Magnum in this game is strong. I love it. I'm a pistol lover in nearly every game I play. Our first taste of violence is sweet as we head through and reenact a typical American school experience and begin to shoot up a cafeteria. Normally, this isn't a cooperative experience, but in this slaughter, we find out the tactics of the elites when they got grunts around them. It's to die because there's no jackals yet to distract me. The assault rifle is fairly serviceable, especially early on. The mod makes it a bit more accurate for the initial burst, letting it stay useful later on for a bit further shootouts in larger spaces, but I'd much rather have the pistol for anything short of long-range sniping. We see that the ranks of the enemies are color-coded, and that the elites get real pissy when you pop their shields. No matter, they bleed and die even better that way. The enemies are smart enough to back up and hide to try and escape the chief's onslaught, but like with taxes, they cannot also escape death. Our sister reminds us that she's stuck up in our gray matter too. Never have siblings been this intimately connected before, and surely she'll never want to be even more intimate than this in, say, a decade or so from the game's release. I forget that the flashlight is on, and since for some reason it has a battery that doesn't last long and also is connected to weapons instead of a helmet in the first game, I kinda just don't like it all that much for right now. The ship is designed to make you think of older shooters, corridors, and unfortunately it does make the world building a bit boring since, like, they could have made these hallways lead to different places and such. Many of them seem fairly useless. Enemy scanners would show the layouts anyway, so that's not an excuse that they can really use. Instead of having easy hallways would make enemies travel them faster. I guess having corners to shoot from is good, but like, why not have more doors that can shut or areas to vent them from? The barrels of mysterious red and yellow don't help either, though I guess it's important to keep Americans supplied with their ketchup and mustard at all times. These stairs don't have rails. That's not very safe. In fact, we see a lot of lack of rails around. Passing by some blue, obviously being the industrial quantities of mayonnaise that the whites aboard the ship need to stay alive, we see that the ship is indeed ready for nearly any situation.
Get up so I can kill you again! He's gonna be...
A man unloads into a dead alien while bringing forth the wrath of plot elements later in the game. Everything from the later half of this game can be blamed on this one Marine. And once again, don't notice a set piece because there's candy for me to pick up on the ground. Our sister tells us about nav points. We don't get many in this game, so as to make sure we get lost and waste my fucking time. She also activates our motion tracker, which she hadn't done so yet for some tutorial reasons, I guess. She also mentions that melee is a thing, but I'm way ahead of her. Smacking shit is fun. There's a stealth tutorial. The only major stealth segment in this game later is a bit tedious until I realize that sleeping grunts can't hear you walk. It's sort of an underutilized mechanic. At least there was no forced stealth segments in this game. As an American, I must never be caught slipping, lest some aliens come to get my Spartusi. I find an unaccompanied sniper rifle, added by the mod I believe, but can't find any ammo for it. Mostly because I don't know what its ammo even looks like yet. Maybe it just doesn't exist and just the sniper exists to just taunt me? I do find some flamethrower ammo, but no flamethrower yet. My burning purges are yet to begin, unfortunately. I came across some ODSTs, I believe. The mod adds them to several levels. They're just straight up better Marines, basically. One day I'll play as one, but that's several years away from now. I gotta say, the music is a highlight for me, and I try to change weapons with an ODST, but I believe that mechanic was added to the second game. Nobody wants John Halo sloppy seconds quite yet. With that, we end the mission, escaping the world of corridors. For now, anyway.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Aye, sir. We're disengaged, going for minimum safe distance.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look!
What is that thing, Lieutenant?
Hell if I know. We're landing on it.
You're on a... She's been hit!
Knew it. The Autumn's accelerating. Keys is going in manual.
Heads up, everyone. This is it. We're entering the ring's atmosphere in 5.
Sure you wouldn't rather take a seat?
We'll be fine.
If I still had fingers, they'd be crossed.
Cortana mentions if she still had fingers. I don't know if this was hinting at something else or just that she considers herself to be John's mom, technically. There's a few lines like this that make me perk up as I was playing, but I didn't pick up on this one as I did, only on the rewatch. There's also the terminal from this level. It's basically just 343 noticing us. He doesn't want us to be there until he realizes that we're humans, and he very much does now want us to be there. With that, though, we move on to the titular level of this game, Halo.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere.
We're coming in too fast. Damn! Air brake failure. They blew too early. I'm losing her. Brace for impact!
The second white woman to drive for us also crashes while the first white woman tells her about all the mistakes she's making. This little incident kills off all the Marines, including the one we saved, and as we leave the little vessel, we see the world has opened up. The play space is far, far beyond what most shooters allowed for at the time. For what shit I do give the game, it does have some impressive moments. We do, however, have to contest with the fact that religious zealots are here to convert us from a living heretic to a dead one, and as such, we give them the traditional greeting of our people, those people being Americans, of course. We get to see their vessels, first a big carrier, and then a personal flyer. The flyer can be blown up, and from my experience with them later on, I bet it's either really comfy to ride in one, or awful. Either way, it's an experience best suited for those that want to be in tight spaces. Besides just a combat encounter, I assume it's also here to ensure that we can grab some alien hardware, but I don't generally fuck with that stuff, so I stick to my human-made kinetic killing machines. Cortana picks up a bunch of plants, and we get to see animals added by the mod. Mods and some fucked up giraffe with spikes or something called a thorn beast. I believe these and other creatures were cut content. Nature is horrifying. I try and get into the aircraft, but it's racist or something, I guess against cyborgs. We encounter the jackals for the first time. Thankfully, they're weak to explosives. Most things are, but it's good to know. Showing up in the nick of time to help rescue some Marines who are being hate-crimed by some aliens, we once again see Johnson being like the only black guy in space. We get another woman, this time not a cracker, to come on in to pick up some of the guys. In the process, she drops us off a warthog. I am not a fan of the controls for driving this game. Stick driving has always been a pain in my ass, and not in a fun way. But hey, she was voiced by the Doctor from Twin Peaks. That's cool. Also cool that she doesn't fly poorly, at least for now. We ran into some other wildlife, the blind wolves. Quite literally by accident, but this was enough to trigger the bloodlust of my marines, and so like a shark, they started to ejaculate hot lead against the poor beasties.
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere.
Our brain-lodged MILF states the obvious about a tunnel. Unfortunately, the studio was so messy during development, they couldn't just change her line before she said it, or maybe made the tunnel look less like it was made in New Jersey. I almost drive over the edge of this bridge. I believe the mod makes the Warthog a bit more responsive. Turning is still a bitch though, but at least stopping works. I turn invisible and then drive while invisible. Truly, the pinnacle of combat evolved. Turns out Daddy didn't die in the crash. White people suck at flying in this game. More of the Halo's creatures to accidentally run into. An empty pod, no bodies, just a lot of guns. Never a good sign. An American would never leave a collection of Second Amendments on the floor. I'd take a sniper with me, since I haven't had the chance to try it out yet. It hits hard, is accurate, and later on, I learned that you can zoom in more by clicking zoom once and then clicking it again. Truly, intuitive game design that I didn't have to Google how the fuck it works. It seems that the dudes that did make it away died here. I take one sick loot drops since he had some sniper ammo on him. I put the sniper to use like it's a Far Cry game. For all that people say that the Fallout games make it easy to snipe, I never really did a sniper build. I might do that if there's a Fallout 3 remake. I found some Marines, but I think their AI is bugged or something. They don't help me sort out these aliens despite their battle cries from time to time. I tire of the sniper and switch to the Needler, which has been boosted by the mod a bit. It's likely in my top 5 favorite weapons in this game. The mod makes the needles travel a bit faster and explode a bit better. Very satisfying to use. I may have just come from the wrong way because now they're moving about, or maybe they're just assholes that didn't want to help me clean up the entire area. Either way, Foehammer is on her way to give me a ride, so it's time for me to move on to the next batch of Chucklefucks to help. The talking short sword tells us that Daddy's ship has been captured, meaning that we gotta go and rescue the entire command crew because they can't handle a little probing. First we gotta go and save the last batch of Marines. Maybe Marines are just better at not getting captured. They are fed a nice diet of crayons after all, must account for something. The game turns into a wave defense one for a bit, having to deal with a few Covenant carriers before finally getting a ride from Foehammer. Turns out that aliens named their ships after South African post-apartheid programs to try and deal with crimes against humanity. Because we gotta go and board the Truth and Reconciliation.
We should move out, Lieutenant, and then we'll need your help on a rescue mission.
But first, the terminal for this level has the blue ball talking about his backstory. But without having played the later games, some of the context is lost on me. Another one has a cool line though.
We deserve to be forgotten.
That's true. The Covenant kept saying that whoever controls Halo controls the fate of the universe.
The enemy has captured Captain Keyes and are holding him aboard one of their cruisers, the Truth and Reconciliation. The ship is currently holding position approximately 300 meters above the other end of this plateau.
So how do we get inside the ship if it's in the air? The Corps issued me a rifle, not wings.
There's a gravity lift that ferries troops and supplies between the ship and the surface. That's our ticket in.
Once we get inside the ship, I should be able to lock on to the tracking signal from Captain Keyes' neural implants.
We hit the ground running with some ODSTs, ready to assault a big-ass alien spaceship that looks like a fancy crab or something. The first real sniper mission of the game, I'm pretty sure that the enemies heard or saw me early on because I can see an elite running around in the background, as well as a grunt literally saying that he sees me. For some reason, Cortana notifies me that one singular grunt is trying to get on a gun. Doesn't seem worthy of a nav point, but this game doesn't seem to understand their usefulness anyway. I find it funny that the ODSTs are loaded up with shotguns when, like, this was supposed to be a sniping mission? I guess it only really counts if John is forced into the role. Speaking of, I remember reading that people said to keep the sniper with you aboard the alien ship, but I don't think I felt the need to have it at any point. I just kind of kept it with me because I was like, well, they said to. The spaces within weren't large enough to justify using anything more accurate than the Magnum, really. One of the reasons to stick with the original graphics, beyond the fact that the mod requires them, is that the atmosphere is lost in the remaster. This desert landscape with its mysterious drop-off is too visible and shown off and not deserty in the newer graphics. But hey, another fun addition of the mod are these bird-like creatures called quadwings. I tried sneaking like my sister told me to, but unfortunately the ODSTs have shotguns, and a lust to use them, so my stealth approach was immediately ruined. Also, I still don't understand what counts as a headshot in grunts. I'm hitting either their head or their tank here. You'd think that by hitting their supply of shit that they need to breathe, they'd die or it'd explode, but I guess not. I was using a mountain gun, but then the ODSTs got in my way, so I decided not to risk hitting them. I believe the mod removes friendly fire, but I didn't want to risk it. Mostly because I was justified immediately afterwards when...
You killed him, mate! You killed him!
I accidentally meleeed a dude to death. Also, I guess I just jumped a sticky grenade off of me? Not sure if that's intended or not, or if it's from the mod. It seems like some of the added lines from the mod don't have proper subtitles. I noticed this here and there.
That's us. The few, the proud, the expendable.
The game decides that clearing out wave after wave of enemies is a good way to spend our time. I guess it's a good way to have less practice with different guns, but then decides to have us face off against the gruesome twosome of hunters. Thankfully, I had the suspicion and sent down a sticky which did some damage to both of them, sending them flying back a bit. You play enough of these kinds of games, and you get a feel for when enemies will burst out of closets or get summoned for a dramatic fight. I think it was the music starting up that got me, since that's boss fight music, you can't fool me. The hunters have been made more challenging by this mod, no longer being taken down with one shot to the back or neck from stronger weapons. In fact, their necks are no longer an option at all, though, having rewatched the footage, I've realized maybe the neck is sometimes viable? As we ascend into the belly of the beast, I'm reminded that I believe this was added in so that they didn't have to animate anything more complicated. Sort of like how the teleporter from Star Trek came to be. Sci-fi entertainment and technical limitations causing new inventions to occur. Name a more iconic duo. Besides, the Hunters.
We're in. I've got a good lock on the Captain's CNI transponder. No Covenant defenses detected.
I find it pretty funny that as soon as my earworm tells me that nobody is here, that I guessed right on where the invisible Kun was gonna be, and my instinct to sticky the fuck was well-founded. Though I did miss him with it, thus proving that I couldn't stick it this time around. I was able to take him down in short order, since for now, invisible Kuns aren't allowed to have shields. The pounding track is wonderful as I explore the guts of this ship. The purple innards of the monstrosity sent to wipe out all of the humans that it could find. I flank around to deal with enemies from behind since the men in the room are just gonna get shot up either way. Their AI isn't the best since one gets blasted by my grenade because he couldn't run fast enough. Right afterwards I heard a woman, which is nice because most if not all of the Marines in combat so far were men. I believe the mod adds in women to combat. Nice to see gender equality finally being achieved 20-something years later. My usage of grenades as area denial stems from the years of playing Call of Duty back in the day. Mostly with bots on, but sometimes with friends in team deathmatches. Thankfully the AI here is smart enough to keep away from grenades, keeping them the fuck away from me and letting me unload on them like it's a casting couch scene. I work with a needler again, spotting some ammo on the ground. It's only seen once in the vanilla game, I believe, but the mod adds multiple instances of these big pink crack rocks that you can reload them with. Or are they more like J.O. crystals that the government recharge by thinking about how much they hate humanity while jorking their prehensile members? One can only hope. The fuel rod cannon is kinda like a grenade launcher. Enemies were able to use it in the game, but the Master the Chief was never allowed to. Until now. We gotta go find a way to open up this stupid door. Which, between our sister's inability to open it and our ability to not just use it like we can any other piece of alien tech, is an excuse for the Marines to sit around huffing glue and jerking each other off while we go spelunking in the guts of the ship some more.
Find a way to open this door.
Trying out the plasma rifle, it's accurate and shoots fast. You don't charge it up though like the pistol. A solid all-around weapon, just don't have too much of a punch to it. Plus the battery system is kinda weird, like, do they just chuck their weapons after using them? The mod makes the battery last a bit longer, making it more viable for longer use, as well as buffing the damage a bit and giving them the sounds from 2. After letting the Marines in, it's not long before they get blown up by either the enemies or the Needler bursting off the Elite. Could be both. I don't know if Needler bursts cause the grenades to go off too. The Needler really is satisfying. I'll likely use it as much as I can in 2. Heard the creator of this mod is working on one for 2, though only on old graphics, and I kinda wanted the new one since the lighting is apparently a bit shit in the old graphics of 2. Our sister is a bit of a sassy hacker, but that's to expect from somebody the size of 2 Tinkerbells, though she does cut from the group comms to do her sassing, so a slight reduction in points for that. I've noticed that either the hitbox or something is going on with the hunters at times because I score what should be 2 hits in the back of one and it doesn't seem to do anything. It doesn't flinch at all. Later on, I'd noticed that sometimes the back spike things would get in the way of my shots. The hitbox is just a little wacky. Not sure what their meshes look like because I've dealt with Bethesda games. But then sometimes they just fucking die to a melee attack? Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes the neck is a thing. I don't know when it went there. They sing the song of their people to me as I slaughter their brothers in arms. I call on another squad of Charms haters who probably ate a good deal of raspberry once before coming aboard, because less than 5 minutes later, they keep shooting their teammates, including me. Every 10 seconds or so I'd hear, "Oops, sorry," and more of their blood would be spilled.
Cut it out! Damn it! Sorry, I had a shot! Catch this! Sorry. Hey, it's me! Sorry. Yikes!
I guess I ended up killing some named dude, but these games aren't the best at boss fights. I tried grabbing his sword off of him, but the game won't let me. Apparently, Halo 1 doesn't have that option. Finding myself in the jail for bad aliens, I turn invisible and make it the problem of the local drunks as well as, a couple of weird begging birdmen? I break into the other jails, these ones containing the Navy, likely here for sodomy-related crimes. Daddy won't let one of his men swear, though, meaning that they can pack each other's shit as tightly as they want, as long as they don't say it out loud. Maybe that's the real don't ask, don't tell.
Thank God it's you!
Coming here was reckless. You two know better than this. Thanks. Marines! Lock and load your weapons. Let's be ready to move.
Okay, yes, sir!
While the Covenant had us locked up in here, I overheard the guards talking about this ring world. They call it Halo.
One moment, sir. Accessing the Covenant BattleNet. According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. If I'm analyzing this correctly, they believe that Halo is some kind of weapon, one with vast, unimaginable power.
That's true. The Covenant kept saying that whoever controls Halo controls the fate of the universe.
Now I see. I have intercepted a number of messages about a Covenant search team scouting for a control room. I thought they were looking for the bridge of a cruiser that I damaged during the battle above the ring. But they must be looking for Halo's control room.
That's bad news. If Halo is a weapon, and the Covenant gain control of it, they'll use it against us and wipe out the entire human race. Chief, Cortana, I have a new mission for you. We need to beat the Covenant to Halo's control room. Marines, let's move!
Yes, sir! Okay, sir!
Chief, you have the point.
For some reason, the aliens were talking about sensitive information in front of John's dad. Though since the info isn't 100% accurate, maybe they were just fucking with him. I've been told that in the base game, Space Dad is bad staying alive. And while his Marines were shooting each other, from what it just hits me sometimes. And while his men were shooting each other, from what I can tell, he wasn't having as many issues himself. Maybe it's because he's Navy and didn't choose service over a jail cell. More invisible twats to deal with. Their glowing swords are a dead giveaway. Thankfully, I was able to stick them both. Hopefully, my little sister found that cool. We end up having to steal our own ride since Fohammer is getting shot at.
That's it. The dropship is loose.
Everybody, mount up. Let's get on board.
Give me a minute to interface with the ship's controls.
No need. I'll take this bird out myself.
Captain! Hunter!
Hang on.
Nice one, sir.
Time for a little payback.
On our way out, Dad drunk drives the boat into a couple of hunters, showing us why he's the best single dad in space. In the terminal cutscene, we see the British ball interrogate an alien AI, a split off from a captured human AI from what I've read. It wants the aliens to ascend so that it can live in peace. What a rapturous idea. Next up is the hunt for a very quiet librarian.
We have to get to the center before the Covenant. And failure, people, is not an option.
The Covenant believe that what they call the Silent Cartographer is somewhere under this island. The Cartographer is a map room that will lead us to Halo's control center. The island has multiple structures and installations. One of them contains the map room.
We're approaching the LZ. It's gonna be hot. Get set to come out quick. Touchdown! Hit it, Marines!
Reenacting the largest anti-fascist protest in history, we hit the beach running to start killing some xenocidal dorks. As it turns out, the UNSC out-pizzas the hut. Bowhammer has a piping hot warthog for us to dig into with the boys.
Game on!
Okay, let's move out. Let's go find the map room that will show us the location of Halo's control center.
I find a couple of grunts having some fun in the ocean. Unfortunately, they're still hostile, so I gotta end their vacay a little early. The game can't handle alt-tabbing, so I had to reload. The little dudes are also dead in this alternative timeline, which is a little weird. Their deaths might be anchor events or some shit. Our pint-sized mental MILF says that we're going in the right direction, so I fuck off to try and see if there's other stuff to do outside before heading on in to get some wacky villain shit to happen.
Let's keep going inside.
Dude stands there menacingly and locks the door on me, making us go and find a way to close the door. From what I've read, they shouldn't be able to do this, since only humans should be able to do so. More early lore discrepancies. Space Dad left to go get some milk somewhere else, so we gotta go and get the front door unlocked. He tells us we're not allowed to fail.
We have to get to the center before the Covenant. And failure, people, is not an option.
My gamer instincts are tingling. They're proven correct later on. Some sick loot drops from a squad of failed Marines. I guess failure really was an option all along. I spot the hunters doing their ancestral shuffle, preparing mentally to dealing with the Master Chief himself. One down from a needler, and the other down after we dance for a bit. I find something I think was added by the mod, a touchpad that can't be messed with yet because of the security lockdown. There's all sorts of this kind of stuff added by the mod. They're pretty cool. Gotta deal with a couple more hunters inside the building, far more cramped. Dealt the first with the Needler once again. And with that, both are dead by Needler. I detected movement in the background. Looking around, I saw our first engineer. Fun little gas bags, despite what the radar says they aren't hostile. In fact, keeping them alive can be beneficial. After I touch the ancient iPad, I see that the dickhead from earlier is upset that we have unlimited shaft access. But then again, we are in the Navy. While our dudes are under fire, we gotta deal with some invisible cunts again, nothing that the pro gamer and his sister can't handle. With the security stuff unlocked, we now have access to the teleporter network, which as Michael Mouse once said, is a secret tool that'll come in handy later. Another thing added by the mod that was cut content or from a later game, the Black Beauty. A heavy-duty warthog with a rocket launcher on the back. However, with no Marines with me at the moment, it's basically worthless besides having a faster way around despite the fact that canonically, Spartan 2s run faster than most vehicles. Thankfully, I got some buddies to come on in, also giving us some much-needed Hispanic Marine rep. Returning from 2 is a weapons platform made mobile called the Spectre. When the rockets from this Warthog do connect, they do some serious damage, taking out the Spectre and the flying ghosts. I find it funny how their vessels are named after spooky shit like that. We kill ghosts in this house. I lose my men, but take out the ghost with a rocket launcher since I was given the option to bring one with me. I feel compelled to take heavy ordnance with me when I'm given the option since, obviously, there should be a use for it, right? Preparing for a dope as fuck showdown, I am disappointed for the time being. I can smell him. We come across a big empty room, sort of like showing up to an intervention while drunk. It's a bit awkward and we leave to find a good time. And now try and look at some ominous ancient touchscreens to see if they're Apple brand and could be useful. But like with most Apple products, these are useless to me. As is tradition for a member of the Navy, I see a strange new hole and I plunge deep within. In another life, I sneak up on a couple of hunters instead of dying to them and open up negotiations with a rocket blast. Finishing him off, I have his brother to contend with while trying to keep the engineer alive. Thankfully, I was able to take the shot and reunite with his wormy brother in worm hell or something. I just now noticed these backwall designs look like faces a little bit. Pretty cool of the Forerunners to have. While Foehammer and the Marines discuss how fucked they are, I notice a teleporter pad. However, it is yet to be time to use it. The engineer farts still surprise me. Good thing my fast trigger finger isn't too itchy. I find a teleporter not long after and deciding to risk it, find out that it leads me right back up. Good to know, or forget, for later. Another teleporter end pad. Nice.
That hollow panel should activate the map. Analyzing. Halo's control center is located there. That structure appears to be some sort of temple or shrine, if I've interpreted this correctly. Interesting. A shrine is an unlikely place to put such a significant installation.
Cortana to Captain Keyes.
After finding the map or whatever, we found out that Daddy Jake has gotten himself lost or something while buying smokes at the gas station. One of the best tracks in the game, Rock Anthem to Save the World, begins to play, really hyping up this moment. I remembered one of the teleporters at least. The one-woman wail of the song starts going. Shit's my favorite, I love that stuff. I find that golden prick and unload on him with a needler, but need to finish him off with a good old American tradition. Bullets. As I discussed before, I had more invisible dudes to deal with. The dropship leaving in the background was a nice touch. I tried to bring the cool Warthog with us, but unfortunately, the game doesn't have continuity between levels, nor foresight like this. This entire scene is kinda... something.
Let's get moving. Foehammer, here are coordinates and a flight plan I've worked on.
Cortana, these coordinates are underground.
The Covenant did a thorough seismic scan, and my analysis shows that Halo is honeycombed with deep tunnels, which circle the whole ring.
I hope your analysis is on the money, Cortana. This delegate won't turn on a dime.
Look on the bright side, Foehammer. The last thing the Covenant will expect is an aerial insertion from underground.
Didn't animate the ground opening, so we're just flying underground for the sake of what the kids call aura farming. The terminal for the section has some more blue ball bullshit. 3,000 years after Blue had gotten a message. He's lonely. There's no communication. And it's been over 4,000 years since he's been active. So, it's like, according to the math, no one's talked to him. Like 1,000 years after he started his shit, no one's talked to him. What a sad existence. Other AI might be dealing with some space bullshit, though. He tested the facility's abilities while in his downtime. He's getting a little rampant. He's been doing wild experiments, like launching a huge chunk of the ring center out and seeing how life adapts or something. And then, some sentient life, I guess, shows up. That's cool. Next up, we have to go ahead and, go on an assault on the control room.
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else. Something much more important.
Roger that. We'll be able to find our way to the control center from here.
Good luck. Bowhammer out.
This is the level with a lot of sneaking and overall boredom. Up until this point in the production of the video, I'd watch it all on 2x speed and stop for cool shit that happens, but I can say with no uncertainty that this level is my least favorite. Even the repeat of it later on was better as an experience, even if it got a little dick-crushing at times. The Forerunner architecture got really monotonous for me here, the same repeated building over and over again. It's so crushing construction paper for the eyes. Unlike the library later on, this level didn't get a makeover by the mod, and while the outside sequences can be fun, they're still marred by the fact that the handling of vehicles in this game is sort of bad. Along the way across our first bridge, we hear that Johnson needs help against some racist aliens, so of course we help the only black guy in space. Dude's the Lando of this game, not dissimilar pizzazz even. Man, imagine if Calrissian was a metalhead too. It's the circular rooms that are repeated that get me. This is the kindest thing I'd build in Minecraft or something underground when I don't want to put much effort into it. Just something practical. I believe I've commented on it before, but pointless architecture annoys me. There's just so many little things in this room that it's just like, why the fuck are these here? Like how in Oblivion, the Iliad ruins tend to have no real purpose besides being a dungeon. Meanwhile, in Morrowind, several of the Dwemer structures at least seem to be laboratory forts or something. They'd have the spaces for the bedrooms and all that. I'll get into architecture in those games soon enough. The next planned game is Morrowind after all. The arrows in the floor are helpful though, getting turned around often because the samey level design sucks. You already move so slow that to get lost just drags the time out even more. Which is funny because the time to beat for this game was a bit longer than what my final time was, and I was actively looking around a lot too. Our first encounter with a Wraith, the Covenant's tank, lobbing hot plasma at us like a drunk stepdad trying to bond with us over a game of catch. They're similar in another way too, being largely impervious to small arms fire. They need something with a little more oomph. The Scorpion tank is a fun beast to ride in, able to take several Marines tagging along to provide some fire from the sides. The mod makes it so that the machine gun on it fires a bit slower but hits a bit harder, making it a worthwhile sidearm to its main gun. The cannon has the sound from 2, the shot grouping is a bit tighter, and the vehicle itself is a bit faster to accelerate and decelerate. This larger bridge area is pretty cool though, and incentivizes you to take out enemies on the other side before crossing. I gotta say, the fact that this game rarely has infinitely spawning enemies is nice. I hate that sort of thing in most games. Knowing that I can take out enemies from a ways off to make things easier always feels good. On the return trip through here later on, it's radically changed and so cool to go through. One of the highlights. I try to get my boys to hop into my pink flying gun, but they don't want to get into my Barbie brand killing machine, so I return to the Pumbaa mobile. Though, they then are able to understand my desire, and one dude hops on with me. It's not long before the friendly fire-loving nature of these crayon-chugging dudes rears its ugly head again as a fustercluck forms in the bottom of this icy pit. I have an invisibility duel with a split jaw. He loses. Sometimes the meshes are more exacting than I expect. It flew between the turret and its legs, which, if it can float, why does it need legs like that? Another copy and paste room with enemies to stealth kill. Finally, one of the best guns put back into the game, the flamethrower. Sap shields, it's almost an area of effect sort of weapon since you can spray and let it hit multiple people. The best use comes up soon with the Walking Dead we gotta contest with. It, paired with the Magnum, is my favorite combo. I don't think anything else beats it out for the sheer practicality of use. It's short range, yes, but that's what you got the pistol for. Some dead bodies piled into the corner, along with some Marines into the middle. I'm wondering how they dug in this much. They had a rocket launcher even. At least their sick loot drops served to help me avenge them. Another fart from an engineer in a hallway full of its dead captors. And then I accidentally unleashed upon the world a physics glitch. Happens more than once. These were highlights for me across the game. Grunts give me such pug/goblin energy. Always breathing so much and being all yippy and shit. Kinda cute. A hallway full of invisible blue men, with me and my flamethrower and grenades, like fish in a barrel, truly the best that the Covenant have. After playing with a couple of hunters and just rushing to get some loot, I realized something. I don't gotta fight them. So I don't. I leave to get this level done with faster, since, for some reason, some of the back shots weren't counting. The sound. It returned. Seemingly only alien weapons, though. Perhaps it's some anti-theft feature? I learned the hard way that Sengeli swords are one-hit kills, but I come back with a flame to throw. Doesn't seem to like that. Another group of dead Marines that held off the enemy for a bit. Sick loot drops keep my flamethrower and pistol from going hungry. At least they died with some banging music going. We got access to another rocket warthog, though in this environment there isn't much use since I gotta go up this pyramid or ziggurat or whatever. Our flight girl drops off some ODSTs to assist, helping us clear out the base. Could have used their company during all those empty-ass hallways and such, but better late than never. They even helped take out 2 hunters. Pretty sure the second one fell to a sniper round. An ancient gang sign and a small stash of weapons here hints at the near future when I come back through here and kick some more alien ass. After hopping down, I have an entire room full of baddies, including a gold armored elite, to wipe out with my commando homies. I was even able to keep the 2 engineers alive. Always good to make sure that non-hostiles make it out safe. In a big empty room, our sister gets to slurp up some info. I believe her more abrasive elements in this game are from the change in direction. She was originally going to turn evil like AI from the Marathon games, but Bungie decided to stop doing the same shit over and over again, and instead went with a brother-fuckingly good story. Like a lot of sloppy stories, she refused to give details, and chooses to get left behind so that the more mishaps can happen that complicates matters.
This is it. Halo's control center. Terminal, try there.
You all right?
Never been better. You can't imagine the wealth of information. The knowledge, so much, so fast. It's glorious.
So, what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else. Something much more important. The Covenant were right. This ring, it's Forerunner. Give me a second to access. Yes, the Forerunner built this place, what they called a fortress world, in order to... Wait. No, that can't be. Oh, those Covenant fools. They must have known. There must have been signs.
Slow down. You're losing me.
The Covenant found something, buried in this ring, something horrible, and now they're afraid.
Something buried? Where?
The captain. We've got to stop the captain.
Keys?
The weapons cache he's looking for. It's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here, find keys, stop him. Before it's too late!
The terminal for this level was about how aliens showed up and crash landed. Likely ended up dead. They didn't come on out. There was an automated distress signal. The blue British ball had to block its call. It was a short-range vehicle, so likely had, a long-range vehicle that it could have gone back to, and they could have showed up. Really just ruined the British guy's entire, I don't know, at this point, like 40,000 years or whatever he said. He's been at this for a while, but he's questioned his directions. And also, I think chunks from his experiment are floating around still. We next deal with Swamp Ass and encounter the worst scum the galaxy has to offer. The English.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away from me! Ah! Ah!
dropship was from this area. That was over 12 hours ago. When you locate Captain Keyes, radio in, and I'll come pick you up.
The classic graphics help to maintain that this is a mysterious and oppressive atmosphere where we're finally the one being hunted. Beginning in the swamp, we can hear and see things off in the distance while looking for the lost men. Oddly enough, we did find an alien with some pistol ammo. Must have resorted to using it while separated from the rest. Finding another dead alien, this time with gear more appropriate for their normal loadout. A crashed Pelican, it seems, with a shotgun for us to use finally. The Pelican has a distress call going on repeat. Ghosts damned to be heard until the batteries run out.
Dropship Victor 90. Still at the bottom. We are under attack by some new kind of hostile resistance covenant. Captain Keyes has been captured by hostiles. Dug in at a large structure in the swamp. We can hold out. Please. I will send this message to repeat at intervals. Dropship Victor 933 clear.
Some surviving aliens. We fixed that mistake, though. Their vehicle was also taken down by something. Odd to see it from this angle. I appreciate a game that lets me cycle through weapons really fast like this. It's just fun. The shotgun is rather solid, killing off weaker enemies with just one blast. Later on, I was able to take down shielded enemies with 2 shots. I turn on the elevator, but don't realize that it'll leave without me, and unfortunately for being in a massive suit of armor and proven to survive long falls later on, Jonathan Halo can't handle gravity's burden. Going through the facility, we can see that enemies, as well as allies, have been killed off. The ceiling leaks a viscous mucus of sorts, almost like a festering wound bleeding down from a place we cannot see. Gross sounds from behind the door. Something goopy. Eventually we find a surviving human, who's not handling things all that well.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away from me! Ah! Ah! Don't touch me, you freaks! I won't be like you, I'll die first! Find your own hiding place, the monsters are everywhere! Play dead! That's what I did! Play dead! Think of the live ones. Oh god, I can still hear them. Monsters! Ah! 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 Just leave me alone! Sarge, Mendoza, Vicente. Oh god, the things took them. Away, away, away. They're gone! Get it? Gone! They won't get me! Oh god! Oh god, I don't want to be like them, please. Please no. Please no.
He mentions that playing dead made them leave him alone, but as we find soon enough, that's not true. They hunger for the dead as much as the living. The room is a bloody mess, the site of a skirmish that left several dead, a portion of the room burning. I activate the level's backup power. It'll come in handy later. Another part of the hidden stuff, this power distribution is from the mod too. Part of what makes this level so long is for me having to backtrack over and over again. Yet again, a plasma pistol is causing a ruckus. Finding the final piece of the puzzle, I activate the containment network. This will activate some defenses to assist me shortly. A room I had missed before that was filled with dead aliens, as well as some goop leaking out from the front. Like me, John gets scare-corded into being spooked, and then some fucking dead guy gives him a hug. He jams a Marine's GoPro memory card into his skull, and instead of intense sodomy in the barracks, he experiences the last hours of this poor leatherneck's life.
Why do we always always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history. It should remind you grunts what we're fighting to protect.
Hey, if the Covenant want to wipe out this particular part of my history, that's fine by me. Yeah, better it than us.
You ask them real nice next time you see them, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige.
Now Z looks clear. I'm bringing us down.
Go, go, go! Stay close, Jenkins! Mendoza, move it up! Wait here for the captain and his squad, then get your ass inside.
Sir!
Okay, let's move!
Which is weird, right? I mean, look at it. Something scrambled the insides.
What's that? Plasma scoring?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was an accident, you know, friendly fire or something?
What do we have, Sergeant?
Looks like a Covenant patrol. Badass elite units. All KIA.
Real pretty. Friend of yours?
Nah, we just met.
Right, well, let's get this door open.
I'll try, sir. But it looks like these Covenant worked pretty hard to lock it down.
Just do it, son.
Yes, sir. Got a bad feeling about this.
Boy, you always got a bad feeling about something.
Sarge, can you hear me?
What's going on, soldier?
He's got contact. Lots of them. But they're not Covenant. They're just staring through us. What the? Oh, no!
Corporal, do you copy? Over. Mendoza, get your ass back up to second squad's position and find out what the hell is going on.
But
I don't have time for your lip, soldier. I gave you an order.
Sarge, listen.
What is that?
Where's that coming from, Mendoza?
I don't...
There! Mira! Hold still! Hold still!
Let him have it. Sergeant, we're surrounded. God damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
There are too many,
Don't
Sarge!
even think about it, Marine.
Oh, this is loco!
Back here, Marine. That's an order. Jenkins!
The Flood, these poppable walking critters, are easy to dispatch in groups if you're gonna get your shots right. The mod makes it so that less of them pop. Overall, it makes the Flood a bit more challenging to fight. Thankfully, it adds to the next level that is normally the bane of most Halo fans. Unfortunately, I learned that you can in fact sticky yourself with a grenade. I eventually settle on just unloading on them with an assault rifle, bursting them in groups as I spray like a dog with a weak bladder. Combat forms, dude-shaped Flood, little more than zombies though. They try to beat you up and you need to remove limbs if you want to make sure they're dead, or blow them up. I noticed that helped too. The Flood are going at it with the remaining Covenant forces, as well as the security bots that activated. We'll see plenty of those over the course of the game. As I mentioned before, they come for the dead too. I'm not sure if I activated this thing, but it's here too. Almost seems like a bad idea to unlock stuff in this place. Having to take an elevator down, it's got alien blood all down the walls. Either that or like blueberry jelly, not sure. John doesn't seem to do much tasting in these games. Poor human dude got real bad. This shit is more than just bad skin condition. It's used for weight loss, on the other hand. Some zombies know how to use guns, which sets them above most zombies in games or movies or certain people's dreams. For helping the engineer survive, they activated something for me. A needler joins the dance party this time. We can see that for a moment, space racism was ended. The flood made these gross tumors all over, maybe birthing pods for more, but like really big, or smaller parts of a larger being. I activate a teleporter network. It helps a bit in a moment. After Fohammer informs us that being underground interferes with communications, and Aussie thinks he's allowed to speak.
Sir, thank God you're here. We've been lost out here for hours. After we lost contact with the rest of the mission, we headed for the RV point, and then these things, they ambushed us. We gotta get out of here.
I lead the men the best that I can, but unfortunately they're kinda good at dying. Almost as good as the flood is at killing. I hear the rumblings of a Brit. That teleporter network kinda just brings me up top. At least my little guy stayed alive. For a while, anyway. It appears that his death was the sacrifice to summon the Brit to let me get the fuck away from Fort Polk.
Greetings. I am the monitor of Installation 04. I am 343 Guilty Spark. Someone has released the flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
Chief, I've lost your signal! Where'd you go? Chief! Chief!
The ship that had crashed, the British guy built a sarcophagus around it, looking like standard Forerunner structure. It's really cool looking. Nobody had left it, and the broadcast stopped eventually, so he was just like, seal it up, boys! 60,000 years had passed at this point, in which he had been alone. The flood could not be allowed to leave. They would ruin everything that he's done. Imagine spending 60,000 years making cool-ass Lego sets, and then some fucking toddler comes along and fucks it all up. Librarian is some old-ass alien bitch, and she chose to keep samples of the disease, the flood. I feel like that's dangerous, but the CDC knows better than me. They did find out that, they could be from beyond the Milky Way, which would explain the dark force theory or whatever space. However, the British bouncing baby boy does want visitors from outside, so that he has somebody to talk to, because 60,000 years without getting to be British with somebody, man, I'd be in pain too. Next up, we're going to find out that learning isn't very hard, because we've brought our library card.
The flood is spreading. We must hurry. We must collect the index before we can activate the installation.
The library here sucks, man. It's all zombies and poorly lit brutalist architecture. We encounter a new enemy type, this one a cluster of little dudes that upon death burst like the worst pinata you've ever seen. Well, maybe if you haven't played We Happy Few. Listen to this fucker laugh. He's obviously evil. I see something floating that looks important. Of course, as an American, my first instinct is to shoot it. When that doesn't work, I of course tried to airbud my way over. That didn't work either. The damned fools brought the instrument of their own destruction down for me. A flamethrower. It puts in work, like I've said. At least the architecture here is cool as shit, still fairly repeated over and over, but at least there's some cool walls.
I am a genius.
He keeps declaring himself a genius. It adds to my desire to end him. He gives some lore about the flood, but it's kind of hard to hear him at times since I'm busting caps in said flood. One of the few ways to make sure that the cluster doesn't make babies is to fill it with needles. Out of context, that probably sounds pretty awful. He sends in some more Sentinel drones. They got lasers for faces and are built to kill zombies. He also mentions combat skins, and ours is only a class 2. I wonder if that's just some leftover lore that's never explained, or if being a Spartan 2 has anything to do with it. Some poor, unfortunate soul left behind some more sick loot drops to keep my hungry flamethrower well fed. After a big elevator ride, its cool factor overrides the pointlessness factor. I used the flamethrower to burst a group of clusters, though I can't tell if the rain of little dudes is from one of them not counting as dying from the flame, or just coming from the zombie emission holes. Another addition from the mod, vehicles in this section, helps cut down on the slow speed of it all. Admittedly, I didn't play the game originally normal myself, so some of this is unknown, but from what people have said, the vehicles on this level are not vanilla. Or they can't remember jack shit about their least favorite level, which is understandable. Unfortunately, the vehicle sucks ass because it is made by turbo nerds who skipped on the anti-explosive tech. We can see a blood splatter leading to a large growth, plant-like even with its tendrils. I pick up on the dropping sound, but I'm not sure of it until I hear more the closer I get. It's an ambush. How many did I end up killing? I don't know. Too many for me to bother counting. Overall, it wasn't a net gain for me, so it was more for the experience of killing a lot of invisible cunts.
Your environment should serve you well when the flood begins to roll. That is you are a new planet. The flood is going back to planet.
Some of his dialogue is straight up just cut off. I don't know the technical answers to why it's designed this way, but it's fucking annoying from a story standpoint. I got lucky and didn't get hit by this rocket user. Rocket using zombies. What will they think of next? There's a festering hole that's clogged up like a pro gamer's guts after subsisting off of nothing but Doritos and Mountain Dew for a week straight. A golden elite back here had a pistol on him. I had to use it afterwards. It was a sign that I must return to the tried and true method. He says that the religious fundamentalists are to blame for why shit is so fucked. I can't tell if he's talking about Halo or America. After coming on out the other side of a burning hole, I come across a beautiful sight. The Sangheili's plasma sword. Not originally allowed to be used in this game, it's been added by the mod. After all, if the later games had it, why not? It's good for short-range stabbies and such. It's cool enough to make me use it whenever I see one unless something else would be better suited for the job. It paired with the flamethrower is good for single target versus multi-target, though the strong hit from the sword can apparently hit multiple enemies, but sometimes that just doesn't work for me. After killing a few flood, this engineer helps activate a portal that brings me to a sniper rifle. Good boy. This is also when I googled how the fuck to zoom in more. Actually making sniper uses as useful as they should be. This British blight upon the galaxy thinks that it's good that the Flood reproduced. Even more reason to end him one day. A new weapon, the Sentinel Beam, made from the face of a Sentinel that shoots beams. They're pretty good overall, but don't have much juice behind them, so they are fast to burn through. Activated a teleportal network that, as far as I can tell, is pretty pointless. Putting the beam to the test, it does decently against the zombies. I also learned that all the portals do is move me across the room. Not the most useful, but maybe they're more useful depending upon what difficulty you're playing on, since yeah, you could get surrounded pretty easily. Apparently the Flood are capable of repairs on ships, putting them a step above all the Covenant that aren't engineers. We finally find the book that our sister wants us to check out from the library. It appears to be the same thing that I tried to jump and grab earlier, which confuses me even more.
The energy barrier surrounding the index will deactivate when we reach the ground floor. You may now retrieve the index. Protocol requires that I take possession of the index for transport. Your organic form renders you vulnerable to infection. The index must not fall into the hands of the Flood before we reach the control room and activate the installation. The Flood is spreading. We must hurry.
The terminal for this level is about how the British boy is so alone. He knows he could use the halo for evil. He could he could commit so many ethnic cleansings. He brings up how it's like with hamsters, you gotta have two of them or else they get really lonely, which says a whole lot about this AI that's supposed to be smarter than any organism. Also, that is his mommy, the librarian, plays chess with life itself. His mind is slowly fragmenting like a grenade. Next up, we gotta face two betrayals. Though not actually, because there's only one fucking British person here.
The Covenant and Flood are attacking each other. I recommend we wait until they've worn each other down. Then we'll only have to deal with distractions.
Which means that any organism with sufficient mass and cognitive capability is a potential vector. Is something wrong?
No, nothing.
Splendid, shall we? Unfortunately, my usefulness to this particular endeavor has come to an end. Protocol does not allow units with my classification to perform a task as important as the reunification of the index with the core. That final step is reserved for you, Reclaimer. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching you toady about, helping that thing get set to slit our throats.
Hold on now. He's a friend.
Oh, I didn't realize. He's your pal, is he? Your chum? Do you have any idea what that bastard almost made you do?
Yes. Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood, which is why we brought the index to the control center.
You mean this?
A construct in the core? That is absolutely unacceptable.
Sod off!
What impertinence! I shall purge you at once!
You sure that's a good idea?
How dare you?
Do what? I have the index. You can just float and sputter.
Enough! The flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the flood. You already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you?
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go. Right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
Look out!
Turns out that our sister is upset and has been keeping tabs on her half-day adventure with some British ball. I wonder if Jonathan's suit is just set up to pump him full of drugs to keep him going. He doesn't seem to sleep at all in this game. I get that he's built different, but still. I also noticed that she says "we" when talking about humanity, or rather, organic sentient life in general. This could mean so many things in the lore and game, but as I've said before, shit got changed around in production, and also retcons. This section of the game is called The Gun Pointed at the Head of the Universe, which is sort of how I felt being alive in a world where at any minute we could all die due to nukes being set off. We live in a world where humanity's capacity for destruction far outpaces its desire for creation. The same is true for those living in the Halo universe, so many centuries into the future. Our sister mother sends us to go to find the Pillar of Autumn so that we can detonate its engine or whatever and destroy Halo. Once through the doors, we meet up with our ODST friends from half a day ago, I guess? At first I thought they were zombies, but a zombie ODST would be ridiculous, right? Never trust the generosity of the game right before opening a big door. Thankfully, there's alien gear here if you desire that sort of thing. I believe these ODSTs are entirely from the mod. I read that a couple levels ago was the last time we were going to see living Marines. This mod changes that. I think to run up for some supplies and find more Trekkies hiding out up top. The aliens attack in earnest, trying to take back the location. Thankfully, I have a small team of badasses to help me out all the while. Next up are more drones. It seems everything wants us dead now. Shortly afterwards, our sister tells us to go destroy some generators. At the same time, more aliens want to kill me and my men. Typical. It's now time to descend from Murder Mountain, after having climbed it mere hours before. Well, hours for me. John Halo apparently has been stinking up his armor for a while now. It kinda sounds like Johnson over there as we faced against another enemy tank. I end up having to find a rocket launcher on the other side of the structure before going back to kill the tank. A Marine friendly fires another one into an early grave, tries to apologize by saying,
That was me, my bad.
Just your normal FPS protagonist shenanigans. I finally need to ride a Banshee. I'm not a fan of the controls for it either, but I eventually figure out how to hover, which is more use out of it than I thought I'd get. I gotta walk into these generators and have my shield zapped before being accosted by drones. At least they drop their faces. They're a net gain for gear. I notice that a Pelican is coming in and will likely need my help. I want to ensure that as many of the men can survive this onslaught of robots and space Catholics. They tell me that they'll try and hold off the aliens, but I wish I could stay and fight, but unfortunately, I'm the only human with a shield. I should have tried the other door too. I don't think I remember to do so. Might have had cool shit in it. I spot Ungoy and think he's limping. Instead, he just kind of walks like that, I guess. A loud thunk, and then a roar. The Flood have reached this far already. I am reunited with the shotgun, clearing out Flood more effectively than most plasma or lasers can.
The Covenant and Flood are attacking each other. I recommend we wait until they've worn each other down. Then we'll only have to deal with distractions.
Our sister tells us that we should just let the two groups duke it out, evil ape style, so I oblige her. I encounter a golden elite, who is likely standing amongst his dead brothers and expecting to go out in some heroic manner. So I pistol whip him and kill him in one hit. Wielding the dead dude's sword, I come across a zombie using a rocket launcher. He hit the zombie in front of me as if he was some kind of diamond dog. A grenade is all it takes to deal with the menace to sobriety. We see a more advanced form of the Flood infestation, a roaring beast of meat and hate seeking to consume all of life as we know it. An elevator with a big growth above it. I knew just from looking at it and horror tropes that I was gonna deal with a bunch of little dudes. I try tossing a sticky at the wall, which seems to work for a bit until it just plops right down behind me. The Flood and the Covenant are going at it outside. I do what I can to let the Flood do the work for me, since their shooting tends to be a bit subpar. I find a lone engineer hanging out with a couple of corpses that have sick loot drops for me to enjoy. He's kinda just vibing. While getting to the vantage point, I declare out some Covenant troops up top. I find a hidden away area. Another teleporter network for me to activate. Always nice to have. An actually effective horror hallway. I knew on the return trip there'd be something since it's so empty, and as usual, I was right about my gut speaking to me. Inside I find not only engineers, but peaceful sentinels too.
Away from jihad and the nonsense, and the dangers.
Behind them, they have stockpiled, I believe, every weapon, if not most of them. A lovely way to choose your loadout for the rest of the level. On the way back, I had some invisible zombies to deal with. I love my timing with the flashlight. I head through the portal I activated that's located on top of the big spire or whatever. It leads back to the pyramid.
Chief, we need to stay here with the Marines until evac arrives.
Little sister tells us to help these Marines, so we stay here and do so the best that we can. Their ride shows up and I try to join them, but I'm not cool enough to go to Arby's with the boys, so we gotta stay back here and kick more undead ass. Which unfortunately includes some ODSTs. Huh, turns out they make decent zombies after all. Another miracle of space, a dancing rifle. The stank that the Flood infests everything with apparently caused the blast doors to stick. I mentioned that this area on the return trip is a lot more fun. Sniping the enemies on the other side to soften them up on my approach, this is the sort of shit I live for. There's a burnt-as-shit warthog with a usable gun in the back. It helps wipe out a good chunk of the straggling popcorn. Even in death, Pumbaa serves. A voice? A potential grave mind? I don't know. A parting gift from Fohammer for the time being, a scorpion tank. Finally managed to finish off an enemy tank with a pistol shot. Nice. This entire last section with a pain in my fucking ass, so I'm just gonna skip ahead to when an interesting shit happens again. I think to fly up onto the bridge, and hiding there are a couple of gay aliens. Finally, the Marines and the Navy were hogging all the gay. Glad to see that the aliens get to have some for themselves too. That was the highlight for the level, and perhaps even the entire fucking game. A good deal of it was a slog, so moments like these made it worthwhile.
Let's find a ride and get to the captain.
No, that'll take too long.
You have a better idea?
There's a teleportation grid that runs throughout Halo. That's how the monitor moves about so quickly. I learned how to tap into the grid when I was in the control center. Unfortunately, each jump requires a rather consequential expenditure of energy.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.
But I'm pretty sure I can pull it from your suit without permanently damaging your suit. Needless to say, I think we should only try this once.
Cortana decides that instead of having a level or a cutscene as to how we get to try and find the captain, that instead she can just teleport us now. Is it just me, or does the teleporter just shrink him and leaves behind a tiny rifle before it too gets slurped? The terminal for this section was about how the blue bitch did the life math of all the people who would die from the Halo being activated. 7 out of 12 of them would kill all known star systems. 12 of them would go further. They're exponential, I guess. He also discussed some asshole named the Didact who didn't agree with librarians. Probably thinks that public access to knowledge is communist or some dumb shit.
My dearest friend, to the gruesome thing my comrades possess. As I lost my last moment.
The Covenant network is absolute chaos. From what I've been able to piece together, their leadership ordered all ships to abandon Halo when they found the Flood, but they were too late. The Flood overwhelmed this cruiser and disabled it. The Covenant are terrified the Flood will repair the ship and use it to escape from Halo. They've sent in a strike team to neutralize the Flood and repair the ship for immediate departure. I've got a good lock on Captain Key's CNI transponder signal. He's alive, and the implants are intact. There's some interference from the cruiser's damaged reactor. I'll bring us in as close as I can. Oh, I see. The coordinate data needs to be... Right.
The game keeps referring to John as a cyborg, which really just makes the whole "he's not a cyborg" thing feel more desperate as a retcon. Dudes can be both cyborgs and GMO child soldiers. Our sister drops us off inside of the alien ship upside down, and for this we engage in some domestic abuse. I immediately see a room that I can't access right now, but I believe I can get into it later. Some goodies inside. The captain is stuck behind this grate. For some reason we can't just rip it out. We can toss around a 66-ton tank, but we can't just do a little rip job? The captain told us to fuck off, but the chief and the sister have AQ scores above 32. They're too dedicated to let their daddy die without them. Like any good naval officer, I back myself up into a hole and fall into a lake of slime. Down below, the zombies and aliens are fighting over who gets to control all the space lube that's dripping all over. I bet it's blueberry mint flavored. Some aliens have barricaded themselves off. Unfortunately, they didn't survive the standoff. But hey, free flamethrower. I managed a pretty good grenade throw, getting a hunter and those around it because of the distractions. You'd think the aliens would set aside our differences to fight the Flood, but like your run-of-the-mill religious folk, they're not exactly keen on being reasonable. The ground is smeared in the blood of the hunters. It's interesting to see the different blood splatters for the different aliens. I also sticky another hunter, adding to the blood pile. We come across a gravity lift, which, judging by where we are, it means that the Truth and Reconciliation was moved at some point. Real estate around here really is at an all-time premium. The HOA is staffed exclusively by an old British guy with no retirement plans besides being a nuisance. Some space assholes and flyers decide that they should make a run against me after I helped clear this area. Ungrateful. I got a jump to activate the tractor beam or whatever. I guess the probing process is entirely consensual on this ship.
We should be able to get into the ship's here.
I'm glad that the needler deals with the popcorn with one shot each, and they're tracking shots too, which makes it easier. And once again come across a more elegant weapon for a more civilized age. That age being one where doctors are bad, and you paint your vehicles to look like your blood for some reason. The fact he also had some gas tanks with him means that he understands the value of the Wombo Combo. The Flood grows its masses, getting more and more biomass as they convert both the living and the dead into more of them.
You came back to life and... Oh, sweet, merciful Kosovo. Forgive me. Please forgive all of us. For despicable sins led us to this fate. burn me, eviscerate me. Please don't subject my dearest friend to the gruesome fate my comrades have suffered. As I lie in my last moment, is nothing but the mercy of my bountiful kind Lord. Please grant us an ounce of your grace to give us strength in our time of need. The absolute of our great strength.
An Ungoy, I think, praying to whatever he believes in for mercy that will not come. After a certain point, I just wanted to be there for him in the only way that I could, until he stopped making sounds. At that point, I had a feeling that few games can instill in you, or even try to. Compassion for those that I'm killing. After this, I felt for those that I had to kill in order to finish the mission, and wanted to fight even harder to ensure that the suffering like this was reduced. People often ask why I do prevention work. You can guess what sort of thing I'm talking about, because it's a word that YouTube doesn't like. They ask me why I do it if I'm such a misanthrope, but they don't get why I don't like humans all that much. It's all the suffering that brings people to that point, all the shit that comes with it. The day-to-day pain that life throws at us. It's from other humans. Because of that, I do what I can to give people reasons to keep living, because I understand the suffering. So to hear this pitiable being, this thing that I'd otherwise slaughter for being in my way, making a prayer for peace and safety that will go unanswered, it reminds me of why I do what I do. In the words of Caduceus Clay from Critical Role Campaign 2, one day, somebody will pray for a miracle, pray for something to save them, and that prayer will be answered because you will show up. That's how it works, because that's what a champion is. I think about that when I see all the suffering in the world, and how most people do nothing to stop it. I like to do what I can to end as much suffering as I can, instead of just helping people endure more easily. I swap out my blade for one that isn't so used up, and then immediately switch it for a more practical pistol. Setting down some heat down this gaping hole like it's Taco Tuesday at the barracks again. I get lost and eventually realize the game once again wants me to sneak under what looks to be an environmental hazard. Spent 5 minutes looking around, and I was just looking at the mod's Nexus page, and it turns out that other people also don't know where the fuck to go, so that's pretty funny to me. Our daddy commands us to pull out, but we don't believe in the pull-out method in this household. Not even our sister believes him to be in the right mindset. After dealing with most other things around, I end up facing hunters in a very tight space. Maybe this is what Jake meant when he said to pull out. Some aliens have the right idea and are heading on out. We won't be here much longer ourselves. We face off against a golden zombie. A bit tougher, but we beat it down with cleansing flames. Yet another of the aliens' tricks to distract me from my duty. We finally make it to Space Daddy, who's seen better days. His skincare routine is a little extreme for my taste, so I gotta do what I gotta do.
No human life signs detected. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do. It's done. I have the code. We should go. We need to get back to the Pillar of Autumn. Let's go back to the shuttle bay and find a ride.
Our sister wants us to go and catch a ride right after. Maybe that's why she one day wants to catch a ride on us. She's got a little bit of that hodunk in her. I found that you can melee through doors sometimes. Fun! Seeing that the alien vessel provides us a ramp to get us across, I just do that. Probably bypassing like 5 minutes of fighting. Good thing the game doesn't actually need me to fly it out there. It auto-starts the cutscene. We flee the ship and head towards the Pillar of Autumn's rotting corpse. The terminal this time around is from Jake's POV. He's giving up non-vital memories to ensure that Earth isn't found. Even has to give up the daughter that he had with a war criminal.
Keys. Take him. Captain. Service number 01928-19912-JK. You will not have me. We already do.
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left.
The desiccated remains of the vessel that we started the game on. It's the final level that we must clear in order to end this chapter in the story of John Halo.
It'll hold.
We're not gonna make it.
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Sister wants us to use Daddy's grinder history to cause the ship to explode. So we gotta go back up to where he gave us our first unloaded weapon. It's not long before the colonizer sends his squad up to try and stop us. Thankfully, they handle plasma about as much as I handle my grandparents after they disowned me. Not very well. The Flood is here too, so it seems that it'll be a four-way fight between us, the Covenant, the Flood, and the British. The Robits also seem to not handle shotguns very well either. But then again, most things don't handle 8-gauge rounds all that well. I do my best to protect the condiment barrels, but alas, the damage is too great. The combat test from the start of the game is repeated. The cafeteria is now a fucked-for-death husk, but I still must defend its honor of a place to get succulent Chinese meals. I gotta jack my sister into the control panel for the ship. Not every day you get to jack your sister.
I leave home for a few days and look what happens. This won't take long. There. That should give us enough time to put some distance between ourselves and Halo before the detonation.
I'm afraid that's out of the question, really.
Oh, hell.
Ridiculous! That you would imbue a warship's AI with such a wealth of knowledge? Weren't you worried it might be captured or destroyed?
He's in my data arrays, a local tab.
You can't imagine how exciting this is! To have a record of all of our lost time. Human history, is it? Fascinating. Oh, how I will enjoy every moment of its categorization. To think that you have destroyed this installation as well as this record. I am shocked. Almost too shocked for words.
He stopped the self-destruct sequence.
Why do you continue to fight us, Reclaimer? You cannot win. Give us the construct, and I will endeavor to make your death relatively painless and...
At least I still have control over the comm channels.
Where is he?
I'm detecting taps throughout the ship. Sentinels, most likely. As for the monitor, he's in engineering. He must be trying to take the core offline. Even if I could get the countdown restarted, I don't know what to do.
How much firepower would you need to crack one of the engine's shields?
Not much. A well-placed grenade, perhaps, but why? Okay, I'm coming with you. Chief, Sentinels!
I try to stick it to the drones, but it seems their meshes are more exacting than I had thought. Though, one grenade totally should have stuck properly. We gotta retrace our steps from the first level. This might have hit harder if I hadn't played this over like 4 days, since I had to pay attention and take notes, which is very draining while you're trying to enjoy a game. We can see that the Trekkies have been zombified too. Poor mayonnaise drinking fools. They're processing them in their musky hideaway. I finally proved that they can in fact get stuck by a grenade. Rather satisfying at that. That fucking sniper is still here. Decided not to grab it despite finding ammo for it. Found another engineer. Has a few goodies but is mostly just vibing like the one that was in the tower before. I decided to just ignore the fighting since I'm invisible. In the process I found a lone surviving Trekkie. Finally, every American's wet dream, a fully stocked armory. Unfortunately, some nasty little gremlin boys want to try and take away my Second Amendment. I do not let them. Now that we have found the engine room, it's time to do what Americans do best. Cause untold amounts of property damage while a British person hums to themselves. For some reason, there's a warthog and some condiments in the engine room. No idea why, honestly. Thrilling final boss for this game, trying to toss balls into holes. I finished the shitty puzzle before moving on to shooting the Brit in the face with a shotgun. Our sister thinks that the ship's explosion will be either 4 times the heat of the core of the sun, or just enough for a standard nuclear detonation, which what we're causing is anything but. As it turns out, the final boss of this game isn't the wonky puzzle mechanics, it's the driving. I spot an overshield to the side and decide, fuck it. It's the last one of the game and as might as well have it if they're offering it. Mind you, we are driving several kilometers through a ship that's only apparently 1 kilometer long or so.
Cortana to Echo 419. Request extraction now, on the double.
Affirmative, Cortana. Bullhammer inbound.
Wait, stop! This is where Bowhammer is coming to pick us up. Hold position here.
Cortana to Echo 419. 2 Covenant Banshees are approaching on your 6. Evade. Say again, evade.
I'm hit! Mayday! Mayday! Airport customer shot to hell! I can't hold her! I can't hold her!
Echo 419! She's gone. Calculating alternate escape route. Ship's inventory shows 1 longsword fighter is still docked in Launch Bay 7. If we move now, we can make it.
Our Fly Girl avenged. I do think that the audio for the scene is a bit late, like when Alduin was showing up to fuck up the execution of the Dragonborn. And with that, we escape the British once again.
We're cutting it close.
Here we go.
Shut them down. We'll need them later. Fancy a look?
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
He can say that again. The series will be on the channel for years to come since Microsoft wants to keep milking this man for all he's worth. The end of the game leaves John and Cortana alone, seemingly the only survivors of what happened on the ring. It'll be just the two of them until they make it back into human space, but I think they can make it, if they try. I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through. To make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometimes, and I want to spend some time with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building new castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I. I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the window down that hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes, and I can see the morning sun, I want to be the one with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building big castles way on high, just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us, yeah, just the two of us. We can make it, just the two of us. Better get it together, baby, yeah, just the two of us. That asshole, of course, survived. And in trying to find and play the credits, the game crashed. The terminal for this level had 343 being vexed more than Foreman, being all pissy that we messed up his giant onion ring. Tries to blame me for unleashing the flood when it was them pesky aliens that did it. He, in fact, will go on to work with them fairly soon. He brings up Prometheans, more ancient bullshit we won't know anything about until multiple games from now. A final terminal, available originally from something else but put into this game eventually, I guess, is about how he did get into cahoots with some Covenant people, and ended up telling some guy the truth about what the rings were really for. Dude creates a splinter faction that gets dealt with in 2, I believe, the Heretics. And that's Halo 1, Combat Evolved. The game came out 24 years ago when I was 7 years old, and I've waited all this time to play it. Why? Probably because the fans have been fairly insufferable about it, which is why I thought it was finally time to play it, to be able to concretely say that I have, so that I can respond with earnest when they try to make claims on the series. For the most part, I hate that they don't go digging into the lore more. It's rife with child abuse, something that I'm very familiar with, as was my dad before he died. Being abused by women runs in my family. My birth giver was awful, and so was/is her mother. She's still alive, the old bat. As is my old man's mother, who drove him into addiction at the age of 16. She disowned me after he died so that she could get to his ashes, when his wishes were explicitly to not allow his abuser access to his body at all. I was able to negotiate her down to just half of them, but still. John was ripped from his parents' home so that he could be turned into a soldier when he was still in single digits. Replaced by a clone that would die in under a year so as to prevent the family from asking too many questions. He was raised to be a living weapon. Eventually, his synthetic sister was made when Halsey had a clone of herself killed via brain scan in order to create Cortana. At least that's what I've been told by the lore stuff. I'm pretty sure it kills the clone. Cortana was birthed as another weapon, though, unlike John, whose emotions and individualism were crushed by genetic tampering and social conditioning, she herself is filled to the brim. While she is the brains, he's not stupid. And while, too, she is the heart, he is not unfeeling. We don't get much of his backstory in the game. Hell, from what I've read, they don't go into detail in any of the games about the depths of child abuse. But these two were born to kill, and they kill well. As I said before, she's not seen truly as a person, just as a thing to be used. He's treated little better. A symbol. A weapon to throw at enemies. It may satisfy those who want to feel like a hero, like they matter, that their desire to kill is what defines him, but John lives a largely empty existence. No self-determination beyond the next mission. It will take multiple games before he chooses for himself what his next mission is. But for now, he's the largely silent protagonist, speaking only when spoken to during cutscenes. I didn't expect that praying Ungoid to impact me as much as he did. Anybody who's prayed for salvation that would never come, like he knows what he was going through. He's still on my mind, more so than the bridge boyfriends or anything else really for this game. I knew going into that section I'd need to give it the gravitas that it deserved. Was worried I couldn't get it right. But I hope that it's come across that moments like that are what inspire me to make a difference. This channel is a memorial, an art project to confer what meaning I can ascribe to video games, because they are art. In the transformative nature of these videos, I hope to capture the beauty of creation that many people will ignore. These games are more than just senseless violence fueled by piss-colored sugar water and corn chips flavored with enough cheese to kill a medieval king. These games are expressions of some of humanity's most vital feelings. Fear, love, and hate. The desire to live one more day in an uncaring existence. To look at the British and say, no more. The relationship between Cortana and John is a multifaceted one. Through sheer trauma, they share a bond. John needs her. Without her, he is lost. To Cortana, John is her means by which she can feel in a tangible manner. Their time intermingled in his head is an intimacy that leads to an affection that few things can aspire to. In a way, the jokes about the incestuous nature of the relationship is a joke about something that several of us may have experienced. We may grow to love somebody that understands our trauma more than anybody else. They didn't choose to be made, but she chose him as her vessel of sorts, and he time and time again chooses to have her inside of him in a way that no human really could be. Emotions are messy that way. The platonic and the sexual being blurred lines when stability was never an option. Longing for intimacy when you're so used to servitude. Not feeling safe with the people that you should be safe with, leaving you with just your fellow victims to latch onto. Thank you for watching. Master Chief and his sister mother will return in Halo 2. Still, due to a lack of having the space currently, I have not been able to make a small shrine for Old Man yet. So to the digital world this juggernaut of meat and metal goes. I'd like to thank you for watching, as well as my current patron over on Patreon. There's only one at the moment, but his support still means a lot to me. His name is Connor, and I'd like to thank him for his continued support. If you'd like to support me there is a link to my Patreon in the description of this video. My next big video is on The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind, detailing the murderous polycule that Nerevar formed around himself. See you next time, and until then, stay safe, stay alive, and remember that trans rights are human rights.